Your electric bill is no longer just a household expense. It is becoming a signal. A signal that the American economy is demanding more power. At the same time, families are already stretched by housing, insurance, groceries, and debt. Every month, millions of people open a utility bill and see a number that feels harder to absorb. The cause is not simple. It is not one company, one policy, or one technology. But one part of the story is growing quickly inside buildings most Americans will never enter. Data centers. These buildings power cloud computing, business software, streaming, storage, and increasingly, artificial intelligence. AI can feel weightless. You type a question, receive an answer, and move on. But behind that answer is physical infrastructure. Servers need electricity. Cooling systems need electricity. Backup systems need electricity. And as AI grows, the demand for power grows with it. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the electricity price index was up 6.1% year-over-year in April 2026. The Energy Information Administration has reported that retail electricity prices have risen faster than inflation since 2022 and were expected to keep rising through 2026. That does not mean AI caused your electric bill to rise. The power bill is more complicated. Electricity prices are shaped by fuel costs, transmission lines, distribution systems, storms, regulation, utility investment, and aging infrastructure. But AI data centers are becoming a new source of pressure on a grid already being asked to do more. The question is not whether AI uses electricity. It does. The harder question is who pays for the power system AI will need. For much of the last generation, America's electricity demand was relatively calm. Homes became more efficient. Appliances improved. Some industries changed. Utilities could plan around slow growth, seasonal peaks, and long construction timelines. That calm period is fading. The Energy Information Administration says U.S. electricity consumption was nearly flat for about 15 years. But over the last 5 years, it grew by an average of 2.1% per year. That may sound small. On the electric grid, it is not. The grid is not software. It cannot be updated overnight. Power plants, substations, transmission lines, transformers, and distribution systems take years to plan, permit, finance, build, and connect. When demand rises faster than expected, the whole system has to adjust. Now, data centers are adding to that demand. Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory estimated that data centers consumed about 4.4% of total U.S. electricity in 2023. By 2028, that share could rise to somewhere between 6.7% and 12%, depending on how quickly demand grows. The Energy Information Administration reported that servers accounted for an estimated 7% of U.S. commercial sector electricity consumption in 2025. In long-term projections, server electricity use could become a much larger share of commercial building demand by 2050. These are not ordinary office buildings. A typical office has rhythms. Workers arrive, lights come on, activity slows at night. A data center is different. The servers have to keep running. Cooling has to keep working. Backup systems have to be ready. The demand can be large, steady, and concentrated in specific regions. When several large facilities cluster near the same power infrastructure, the local grid can feel the pressure quickly. This is why the story is not just about AI. It is about timing. AI demand is growing while America is also using more electricity for other reasons. More electric vehicles, more heat pumps, more advanced manufacturing, more battery plants, more chip facilities, more cooling during hot summers, more digital services running all day and all night. Each trend has its own explanation, Together, they create a larger problem. The North American Electric Reliability Corporation has warned that large loads, including data centers, crypto facilities, AI, and hydrogen plants, make it harder to forecast demand and plan the grid. NERC has also noted that data centers can be developed faster than generation and transmission infrastructure. That is the bottleneck. A company can plan a data center faster than a utility can build everything needed to power it. A state may welcome the jobs and investment. A city may want the tax base. A tech company may want speed. But the grid still has to deliver electricity safely, reliably, and affordably. And when utilities spend money to expand or strengthen the grid, those costs have to go somewhere. That is where households enter the story. Electric utilities are regulated businesses. When they build new transmission lines, upgrade substations, expand distribution systems, or add capacity, regulators often decide how much of that cost can be recovered through rates. Some investment is necessary. The grid has to be maintained. Reliability matters. Growth has to be planned for. But when new demand comes from very large customers, the cost question becomes harder. Should ordinary households help pay for upgrades needed partly by AI data centers? Should large power users pay more directly? Should costs be spread across all customers because everyone benefits from a stronger grid? Or should regulators draw a sharper line between general grid investment and infrastructure built for specific customers? This is no longer theoretical. The Wall Street Journal reported in June 2026 that Phoenix had become a test case for how to pay for AI-related power needs. The debate included proposed rate increases for large energy users and residential customers. That case captures the tension clearly. Communities want growth. Utilities need capacity. Tech companies need power. Households want affordable bills. All of those things can be true at the same time. For families, the electric bill is not optional. It powers the refrigerator, air conditioning, lights, laundry, internet, medical equipment, and the basic routines of daily life. People can delay buying a car. They can skip a vacation. They can cut back on restaurants. They cannot opt out of electricity. That is why rising power costs hit differently. For a middle-class household already dealing with groceries, insurance, rent, mortgage payments, and credit card debt, a higher utility bill becomes one more squeeze. It may not dominate the budget by itself, but it adds pressure in a place people cannot easily escape. For retirees, the effect can be sharper. Many live on fixed income. They may not follow utility regulation or data center forecasts. They may not care whether the cause is fuel prices, grid investment, or commercial demand. They feel the monthly number. Small businesses feel it too. A restaurant needs refrigeration, lighting, cooking equipment, and climate control. A laundromat is directly exposed to energy costs. A small grocery store, warehouse, office, or repair shop may not have the bargaining power of a major corporation. When electricity gets more expensive, owners have fewer good choices. Raise prices, cut costs somewhere else, delay hiring, accept lower margins. Electricity inflation moves quietly through the economy. It does not stay on the utility bill. It can show up in operating costs, service prices, local budgets, and household trade-offs. It reaches homes, stores, schools, hospitals, factories, and offices. At the same time, AI should not be treated as a cartoon villain. Data centers can bring construction work, demand for electricians and engineers, tax revenue, and local investment. The digital economy supports services that millions of businesses rely on. Artificial intelligence may also create productivity gains over time. The issue is not whether AI should exist. The issue is whether the cost of powering it is being planned honestly. Technology is often described in weightless language. The cloud, the model, the platform, the app, the algorithm. But the power system is not weightless. Behind the digital economy are transformers, substations, transmission lines, cooling systems, backup generators, solar projects, batteries, gas turbines, steel, concrete, land, water, capital, and workers. The digital economy has a physical electric bill, and the grid has physical limits. Reuters reported in June 2026 that rising data center power demand, along with long waits for gas turbines, was pushing some U.S. developers towards solar plus storage projects. That is an important signal. Developers are not just talking about future demand. They are already looking for ways to bring power online under real constraints. But no single solution fixes everything. Solar can help. Storage can help. New generation can help. Efficiency can help. Better planning can help. Still, electricity has to be available at the right time, in the right place, through infrastructure strong enough to deliver it. A data center that runs around the clock needs reliable power around the clock. A region with limited transmission cannot solve every problem by adding projects somewhere else. Energy infrastructure moves slowly. Digital demand can move fast. That mismatch is one of the most important parts of the story. A new AI product can spread quickly. A company can announce expansion plans. Demand for computing can rise. But a transmission line cannot be approved, built, and connected in a few months. A substation cannot always be upgraded on short notice. Major equipment can face delays, so utilities and regulators are forced to make decisions under uncertainty. If they build too little, reliability risks can grow. If they build too much, customers may pay for infrastructure that was not fully needed. If large users pay too little, households may feel they are carrying costs created by the AI boom. If large users pay too much, investment may move somewhere else. There is no simple answer. That is what makes the issue serious. The International Energy Agency projects that global data center electricity consumption could double by 2030, with the United States accounting for a large share of projected growth. But the forecasts are not all the same. Analysts at Harvard's Belfer Center have noted that estimates for future data center electricity demand vary widely. That uncertainty matters. It would be misleading to say AI is the main reason every electric bill is rising. It would be wrong to say data centers caused all recent electricity inflation. It would also be irresponsible to claim the grid is headed for collapse. The verified story is more measured. Electric bills are rising. Electricity demand is growing again. Data centers are becoming a larger source of power demand. AI is one reason that demand may grow faster, and the cost of preparing the grid for that future may affect what Americans pay. That is the story. Not panic, not conspiracy. A structural economic pressure building inside a system. Most people only notice when the bill arrives. Different regions may handle this pressure differently. Some regulators may require large data centers to pay more directly for the infrastructure they need. Some utilities may spread costs more broadly across customer classes. Some tech companies may sign power contracts, build dedicated energy projects, or invest in storage. Some states may compete for data center growth. Others may become more cautious about the strain on local grids. But the direction is clear enough. America is entering a period where electricity matters more, not less. The economy is becoming more digital, more electrified, and more dependent on reliable power every hour of the day. That power will require investment, and investment has to be paid for. The question is how. For the American household, the rising electric bill may not come with an explanation. It may not say data centers. It may not say transmission. It may not say fuel costs, storm recovery, substations, or AI demand. It will just show a number. Behind that number is a larger story about where the economy is going. AI may be digital, but the grid is not. The technology may move at the speed of software. The power system moves through permits, equipment, construction, regulation, and cost recovery. That gap is where the pressure builds. If America is going to power the next economy, someone has to pay for the wires, the generation, the storage, and the reliability behind it. The question is whether that cost is shared fairly, or whether it quietly lands, month after month, on people already trying to keep up.